All right, welcome folks to this 2014-15 academic year prep meetup for History at Our House. Our academic year of History at Our House begins on Monday, August 25th, and which is somewhat of a new development for all of us in the History at Our House universe. We, in the past, have started in September, but by popular demand, we have shifted the start date and end date of the program. So we will begin August 25th on Monday. And so here we are on the Friday beforehand, and I've invited you all to experiment with WebEx, especially those of you who are new to the setup and who would like to try it out before we dive right into the live class environment. So welcome and thank you for attending today. And so what we're going to do is I'm just going to walk you through a few of the new features of History at Our House, in particular those that relate to how you will participate in the live program, but most of what I have to say will be relevant to just about everybody because I'll navigate a little bit through some of the features of the website and show you how you're going to get connected and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and just, I want to point out a few of the features of what you have here in WebEx. WebEx is a web conferencing software system. And so it allows us all, wherever we may be in America and around the world, to connect to one another and to enter into a kind of virtual classroom where I can present the material of this history curriculum, and students and I can interact in a number of ways. So students can ask questions and I can put them on the spot and they can have to answer questions. And so you might notice, and if you haven't before, I want you to peruse the right-hand side of your interface, which has the participants listed. And if you can't see the participants listed, you should. And then once you've spotted that, you can press it and then have it expand, and you will see yourself along with other people. And so I'm just going to ask Henry to make sure that that is the case. So Henry, can you see yourself and the other folks in this class?
I don't.
Okay, so if you're looking on
the right...
Yes,
I can.
You can now. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Henry. Henry's going to be a new student in the live classes, so I wanted to make sure to help him out here. And Henry, can you see somewhere next to your name or beneath the list of participants a little icon that looks like a hand?
Yeah, I'll show you that I can do it.
Perfect. Right. See, so Henry just raised his hand and lowered his hand. So in the classroom, we tend to be muted for reasons of audio interference. And so what I have the students do is I have them use the hand-raising function. Anybody who's new to WebEx, I would invite you to just single out that button and give it a try. And then you can press it again to put your hand down. So Abby, I got you there, and Josh, I got you there, so perfect. If you have a question that persists, you can go ahead and just raise your hand, and I will try to address it as I proceed here. But otherwise, you can just raise it and put it down, and that way you can see what it looks like. Okay, so good. So I see a few people that have tried that out, and the rest of you, I know quite a few of you here are veterans, so that's just fine. All right, good. So we have that functionality, and we also have chat functionality. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the chat myself, and I'm just going to send a message to everybody. I'm just going to say, welcome. And so I'm going to chat that to you all. So there you go. Mr. Powell to everyone says, welcome. Oh, and somebody mentioned just now, from Henry, says that the hand icon does not appear on the iPad. And I apologize. That is a limitation of the iPad. So thank you for bringing that up. So you can certainly attend classes using the iPad. I don't know why all the mobile devices do not have 100% functionality. But on the iPad, what I have students do is I have them type the letter Q into the chat box. And so Q is short for question. And that way, if you want to get my attention and you're on a device that does not permit the hand-raising function, then you can just type Q and I will see that, and I'll be able to respond. So Henry, if that's the case, you let me know, and just by typing Q, or, you know, really whatever you prefer. If you want to type my name, or Q is just obviously the shortest thing you could type, so as one letter. All right, so now you're looking at the virtual classroom, and it includes a whiteboard, and I've imported the History at Our House logo just for the sake of having an image on the screen. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do one of the things that is most powerful when it comes to web conferencing and WebEx in particular. WebEx has an excellent function that allows me to share my desktop with you, with the students, evidently. So what that allows me to do is it allows me to organize just about any content I want on my computer, and then have it appear on the screen of the students so that they can see exactly what I see. And I can, as I move my cursor, they see my cursor move, and as I perform various feats on my own computer, they get to see it. So this is a really powerful tool for learning in a variety of ways. So before I go ahead and do that, Henry has a question, because you used the hand-raising function perfectly. So I'm going to go ahead and let Henry ask that question. Henry, go ahead.
I don't see your mouse.
Yes, you don't see it yet, but you will see it once I share my screen. Okay. I believe, Henry, confirm for me if you will. Do you see my pointer now? Hold on a second. I'm going to unmute you. Let's see. Henry, do you see the pointer now?
No.
How about now that I clicked on the screen?
I don't.
Don't see anything? Okay, you don't see on your screen? All right, that's fine. So that's maybe something that I need to sort out with this slightly new WebEx interface. But what I'm going to do now is demonstrate the power of the screen sharing functionality. So let me go ahead and do that. Share my desktop is the function that I'll be using. So, hi, if you've just arrived, please mute yourself. And great. So now I have my, so what you're doing now is you're looking at my screen. Let me see if, I think I saw somebody's hand go up. Henry, go ahead.
I can see your mouse now.
Yeah, okay, thank you for letting me know. Okay, great. So now you can see my screen, and you can see my mouse and everything that I can do. And so what I've taken you to is, actually I'm going to switch over to another one here. I've taken you to the History at Our House homepage, which is how, for this year, for the first time, you're going to access your material. So in the past, whether recorded or live, you have had to have a special link sent to you, which you would have the password, a user ID, and a password for. And you'd have to remember that and bookmark that and manage those things kind of yourself. Whereas now we're operating with a more sophisticated software system. So what we have instead is a single entry point for all users. And that single entry point is this link right over here, My Purchase Content. Okay, so you are on the site wherever you may be. If you happen to be looking at the 2014 news, you'll still see that link, no matter where you are in the site, whether you're on the home page or any feature, any part of the page, you'll always have that link. And once you click on that, well, you'll see what happens. Now, if you haven't logged in, or if you haven't purchased, or what have you, this is what will happen. You will get, the system will recognize you as being in that position, and will ask you to either go buy something, or, assuming you have already, it will tell you to log in. So this, if you've just started up your computer in the morning, if you are a person that turns it off and on a lot, and then you may not be logged in when you arrive to History at Our House in the morning, so you may have to, and the system will simply tell you so. So if you go here and you click on Login, well, you'll get to this nice, elegant History at Our House login screen now. And I'm going to go ahead and log in. I've set up a special account called Mr. Powell Demo, which looks like a junior high American history student, basically. So if I go ahead and confirm my access, log in now, I'm going to be able to enter into the site. And in all likelihood, you'll get a navigation bar up at the top here, which says who you are. It says, hi there, howdy. So apparently this system is kind of cowboy, has a cowboy personality. So it says, howdy, Mr. Powell demo. And now the My Purchase content page has a link to the product that you are subscribed to. Okay, so that's the nice and easy thing is the system will know who you are, and it will know if you are logged in as Wyatt or if you're logged in as Henry. It will know who you are, and it will offer you the proper link, in which you can follow through. And once you do, it will take you through to the archive, and this is where everything will happen for you. This is going to be the hub of your efforts with HistoryAtOurHouse. At the very top, there will be a link that says Live Lecture Access. You'll click that, and you'll be in to your class, just like you did today in your email or wherever you had here. That's exactly what you'll have here. Is a link that says Live Lecture Access, and then you'll have a similar listing of classes as were the previous instance of American history, which are available as recordings now. So this is where everything's going to happen. So now I see that somebody has to go ahead and give, oh, well the question's, oh wait, Henry has a question, I believe. Henry, go ahead.
Wyatt did a Q, and so he's raising his hand, right?
Oh, you mean it was Wyatt, not you? So I should check with Wyatt?
Yeah, I'm just telling you.
Okay, sorry about that. I got you too confused. Hope that doesn't happen too often. Wyatt, go ahead.
I was just wanting to see if you could see that I had a Q on. Did you see it?
Yes, I certainly did. So thank you for testing that. That's a good idea. Okay, so now actually Wyatt and Henry are a really interesting case for us because, and this is not uncommon, where you might in your family have students at 2 different levels. You might in your family have students who are using 2 different products. So somebody could be, you know, Wyatt and Henry are using 2 different levels of American history. In your family, you might have a student who decided they want to do Asian history this year and another student that wants to do American history. So when that happens with this new system, you have to have a method for going back and forth between those users. Because as a user, this is Mr. Powell's demo. So how do you then get to, let's say, lower L American history if you needed to do that? Okay, so I'm gonna show you now 2 different ways in which you could do that. The first way that I recommend is that each student or user, depending on what term you want to use, each member or each student, choose and use a certain browser. So you'll notice here on my screen that I'm using Chrome. That's one of the most popular browsers around today. But so what I can do is I'm logged in as Mr. Powell Demo using Chrome, but if I switch over to Firefox, which is a different very popular browser, I'm now logged in as Scott Powell. That's me. That's my own personal account. And so when I go and I say I'm going to pretend to be a lower elementary American history student because I'm an administrator and I can do that on the fly. So let me just go ahead and give WebEx a chance to make that switch. So now it says I'm viewing it as a lower elementary American student. I go to My Purchase Content in Firefox. It says lower elementary American history. So here we have one student at one level in one browser, and if I switch back to Chrome, a student at another level in another browser. So I think, you know, given how how adept people tend to be with their computers nowadays, and I think this is a good solution for students that have, for families that have 2 different users. Each student can pick a browser and then they'll always use that browser, and they'll always be logged in using that browser. Now, an alternate way to approach it is, you have to be, you can log in and out within the same browser. So here I am, let's say, Mr. Powell Demo, So I'm pretending to be a junior high American history student at this point. If I log out in this browser, now I get back to my login screen, and I enter in the Mr. Powell account. And so that's going to be, I think I got my password right. Now I log back in as Mr. Powell, or, I could be Henry, and then I log back in as Wyatt. And then once I log in, well, I go, because this is my super user account, I go straight to the site administrator. But here I am now, upper elementary Asian history, pretending to be, right, as an upper elementary Asian history student. And I'm using the same browser, but now I have gained access to my Asian history content instead. Okay, so there's two different approaches. You can use two different browsers at the same time, or you can log in and out of your user account using one particular browser. Now, I noticed that a number of questions have arisen, or there were some chat comments that came up and went by quickly. One of the disadvantages of chat is it can kind of disappear on me. But let me see if I can pull back up the messages that came through chat, because this is a good test. So so it says, Declan wants to know, will the history notes be available before each class starts? Now, I'm not sure exactly what that question means, Declan. So are you talking about the weekly class notes? Declan, go ahead. I can, okay. Okay, I can. Well, unfortunately, that's the same answer as it typically has been in the past. I usually provide the weekly class notes at the end of the week. This is one of the great challenges of offering up a live program is it's under construction permanently. It's an evolving thing. And so it's possible that I will lecture on things that I didn't quite expect to months ago when the curriculum was under development and so on. And the truth is, I've been working very intensively on different, especially on pedagogical concepts. And I may be changing the style of the presentation. In fact, I know for sure that I'm going to change the style of the presentation to some extent, especially for the junior and senior high. And I have still yet to decide how much will change over time for the elementary. So that makes it very difficult for me to provide notes up front. Okay, so now there were other questions. Can we follow along with, so we can follow, no, that definitely is not possible. But it may be the case that I'm going to start implementing some little polls or pop quizzes at the end of each class using the computer functionality. So that might be something that we'll experiment with this year to keep students on their toes. And so that could be kind of a fun new addition. And so, and I have another follow-up question that says, can two people be in the same class on different computers? Yeah, I don't have an objection to that. The challenge there is definitely the two computers should be in different rooms because of the sound interference issues. But if you're in the same household and you're in the same level, or if you're a parent listening along with a student, I don't have objections to more than one computer being logged in, because I don't have an expectation that we are going to overrun the WebEx system this year. So the WebEx system can accommodate more people than I would expect to be in any particular class. So if it happens to be that a lot of people are choosing this and multiple computers are logging in per household, I may need to put some limitation on that. But for the time being, I don't expect to have to do that. Okay, so basically what's going to happen is when I'm going to use the Asian history since it's right in front of me. When you are either a live student or a recorded student, what's going to happen is you're going to see similar links to this. And when the archive is up and going, and you'll choose, these are older links from previous years, and you'll be carried through to the website and where the material will be posted. So it's going to look a lot like it has in previous years. Recordings will be posted in 2 formats. You'll also get a formatted audio lecture, just exclusively audio, and you'll get a bunch of different links depending on what it is that we're teaching on that particular date. So this is just an example from previous years. And so this is going to be very much the same as what you're used to. At some point, we will be evolving to a more sophisticated system where everything is going to reside back in the original system like this, with this new formatted website. But basically, for the time being, this is just kind of what they call the front end, the beginning of how you access the material. And the rest of it is pretty much going to look like what you expect. Okay, so just to wrap up for today, the key thing is, especially for you people who are in the American History program, when you go through to American History, this is where your link is going to be for the live classes. You'll click through and you'll arrive at a WebEx class looking very much like what we just experienced today. And you'll join me and we'll get started and we'll start talking about American history. All right, so let me now return us to the WebEx interface. So that's going to be it for the presentation. Margot, I'm sorry you got here at the end, but I'm going to stick around to help anybody that needs additional help or that has individual questions pertaining to their program or their family situation. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you might have as we get ready to embark on this new school year. So thank you all for having attended, and now I'll open it up to Q&A. So for anybody who does want to ask questions, remember, just use the old hand raise function, or go ahead and chat it. Just simply chat your question in the chat list, and I can answer it for you. Okay, so Josh has used the hand raise function. All right, Josh, thank you very much. Go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Hi, this is great. I love this this tool. Are you ever going to be using the video chat feature, or is it just audio?
So yeah, the video chat has advantages and disadvantages. The advantages, you do get to see my beautiful person, but the disadvantage is that given the state of the internet, the movement of my lips does not match the audio that you hear. And I've had many people say to me that is just too distracting, and so it's not yet an effective mechanism. But we are getting to the point where I suspect in the next couple of years that the internet, with all of these new incredible advances that the innovators in the tech industry are proposing and are implementing as we speak, I suspect that the internet is going to speed up so much that we will be able to have true live video conferencing, and I'll be able to do all kinds of fascinating things. My whole song and dance routine in front of the kids, and we'll be able to enjoy that. But for the time being, what you hear the audio and you see what's on your screen. That's called screencasting. And so we're stuck with that sort of. Josh, any follow-up on that?
No, thank you. I agree. I think it's the format works very well right now, and adding video would change it. So I'm curious to see if you like that better once the bandwidth gets good enough so that there's no lag. But I think it works really well the way it is right now.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, it's going to be wonderful, and I look forward to the time when I can have a giant HD computer screen with all of my students' faces there, so I can see them. Because I got my start, like most teachers, I got my start in a brick and mortar classroom, and it was a delight to be there interacting with students on that more personal level. And one of the great things that you get when you are teaching in person like that is you get to read the students and their reaction to the material, and that is something that I am denied in this particular environment So it's something that I look forward to having in the future. So I think that once video comes, and as you say, the lag is eliminated, and we get this full video capacity on the internet, then I think we're going to have to move in that direction, and that's going to be an exciting development. I don't think it's that far off. You know, it's interesting, Josh. History at Our House was exclusively audio the last time American history was given. So if you go to the 2010-11 recordings, you will see all you see is MP3s. Because in 2010-11, quite frankly, WebEx wasn't ready. It wasn't happening. I mean, there might have been some institutional and professional, big companies that were using GoToMeeting and stuff like that. But nobody was really using online classrooms even 5 years ago, really to the extent that they can now. So to me, that's quite kind of an important thing to, as far as timing is concerned. I expect that by the time we get to the next go-around of American history, we will be using video. I think that's a pretty reasonable expectation, because we're close. We're already close. If I turn on my camera now, no, I don't. Let's see, have I done my hair? Yeah, if I turn on my camera now, you can see me for a second here. Yeah, I've got my laptop screen kind of wildly. I got my ceiling fan going there, and I think you all can see me now. And so, but you could probably get a feel for whether or not you're able to see my lips move at exactly the same pace as my speaking voice. And so it tends to have that lag. So yeah, we're definitely moving in the direction of getting to the point where that won't limit us anymore. All right, Josh, keep your hand up if you have a follow-up, or otherwise put it down, please. So now, how do I, now Wyatt's turned on his camera. I don't know. I'm not sure if I can turn that on or off. So Henry, you have a question. Go ahead.
I'm excited for the start of the classes. My mom had a question.
Yes.
Okay.
As the instructor, do you have a preference for them to be logged in together where you're not sure which one of them is raising their hand? Or if we log them in separately, one of them has to be on the iPad where they type the cue. Do you have a preference?
Okay, that's a really good question. So especially for your family, your context, I would say that I would prefer to have them together. And what you can do when you log in, of course, is you just type in both names. You, instead of typing Henry K, you type Henry and Wyatt. And yes, I know that just by that fact alone, I won't be able to know who it is. But basically, when the hand raising function occurs, I will ask Henry or Wyatt, and one or the other will identify themselves, and we'll just proceed. So I have more than one family that's in this situation, and I don't find that it hampers the experience for them at all. Now, the one consideration that might affect that is, of course, whether or not Henry and Wyatt want to attend together. So I have had families where the students definitely prefer to be in their own room and, have kind of their own private experience, and where the siblings otherwise might impede each other in their learning. So if that's the case for the two boys, then, it's completely up to you. If we want to have the most productive learning experience that we can have, and I find that having the kids attend together does not bother me at all, and I suspect it's probably good for them. But if they can't, and if they prefer not to, I'm fine with them attending separately also. Okay, so we'll play it by ear. Maybe you can run a few experiments one way or the other, and you guys can decide which one you like the best, and we can probably go either way. Okay, great question. All right, anybody else? Going once. All right, Abby, we have Abby. Go ahead, Abby.
Do we get homework for the classes?
Do you get homework? Abby, what class are you going to be taking?
American history.
American history, and what level?
Upper elementary.
Upper elementary. Okay. You will get occasional homework, not a heck of a lot. You will have the main form of homework, which you might think of it as homework or not, but the main type of work that you'll have to do outside of class is preparing for and taking tests, of which there will be 6 during the academic year. So that's periodic, right? It's about every 6 weeks, it turns out to be. We have a test, and so that is a pretty challenging exercise, and that is something that I think is very important at your level. And now there may be some work, I'm batting around the idea, Abby, that at the upper elementary level I might be asking you to do some new kinds of work that I haven't asked of students in the past. So we'll see. In the past, I have had different kinds of homework assignments or reading assignments, but not very frequently. Certainly not every day. But one thing that I do recommend, Abby, is you will get weekly class notes, which are a summary of the content that you have heard in class. And I definitely recommend that those be read. And I even recommend to parents that those be copied in the student's own handwriting. So when I taught students in the classroom physically, I would always write those class notes on the board, and students would have to take those down personally. And I don't know if you've seen this or felt this in your own learning, Abby, but it is definitely true that we human beings learn better when we are writing. There's a certain part of our brain that turns on when we write, and that part doesn't turn on if we're not writing. And so it's really quite remarkable that it's a powerful thing to write words out for yourself. And so I recommend on a weekly basis that you read and write the class notes that you receive, and that would be a useful homework exercise once a week. Okay, any other thoughts or questions about that, Abby?
No.
Okay, thank you. Great, so we have Henry again. Go ahead.
This is Wyatt.
Okay, Wyatt.
I just wanted to ask, are we doing that philosophy thing again this year?
So philosophy at our house was only last year, so you got the one shot, the exclusive participation. That is not going to continue.
Okay, but I think it's still wait to be back.
Thank you, thank you. I agree. We're going to have an amazing story. American history is the best story of all, and we're going to have some amazing art, right, through history, through art to enjoy. And so I agree entirely that we are about to embark on another exciting year. It doesn't get any better than that. Okay, so Abby and Henry, put your hands down unless you have a follow-up question or concern. I think some of those hands are staying up because there are follow-ups. So Abby, what about you? Is that a follow-up?
I was wanting to ask about the book. What I'm doing with those.
Okay, about the year. So there are no, now why can't I mute it? There you go. There are no textbooks with History of Our House. At some point I will write some, but I'm working on a book right now, but it's for grown-ups. So I'm sorry that I can't get to a book for you right now. But I certainly will be writing some in the future because the world needs better ones. But, and there are recommended books to accompany different parts of the program. And you'll see those on the side of your screen as you go into the different classes. So, but they are just recommended. And so let's say we are talking about the Louisiana Purchase. I don't know if you've ever heard of that before, but you might know the state of Louisiana. You might not know that the United States bought this huge chunk of land from another country. It was called the Louisiana Purchase. And then there were some explorers that went out and learned about it. All right, so if you wanted to learn the story of that particular Louisiana Purchase and the explorers who went there, then you could, read up on follow up on the story of those explorers. And if you wanted to learn more about the Civil War, you could you know, read up recommended books on the Civil War. If you want any part of it, you'll find recommended books that allow you to do that sort of thing. Okay, so that's just, but those are recommended readings only. All right, great questions. Anything else? All right, well then, I guess we can bring things to a close for today. I will be posting a recording of this meetup in case you missed part of it, or for anybody that wasn't able to attend. So you can look for that. I'll definitely send out an announcement concerning this recording, and you'll be able to listen to any part of it again if you choose. All right, so for those of you who are joining me for live classes on Monday, I very much look forward to seeing you there. And welcome everybody to another year of History at Our House. And it's going to be, I think we're going to have a great time together and learn a heck of a lot. So thank you very much. Bye for now, everybody.